What happens when the lone wolf, who just wanted to protect his cabin, is suddenly forced to become the de facto leader of humanity's first multiversal faction? In Defiance of the Fall 3, the third monumental installment of TheFirstDefier and JF Brink's colossal LitRPG cultivation epic, Zac OZeller faces his biggest challenge yet: the integration. Earth is no longer a hidden tutorial zone. It is officially part of the multiverse, and the cosmic community is coming to call. If books 1 and 2 were about raw survival and establishing a foothold, book 3 is about stepping onto the galactic stage. This audiobook is a masterclass in expanding a LitRPG universe, blending massive faction building, hilarious culture clashes, and the relentless, axe-swinging badassery that has made this series an absolute juggernaut. The narrative kicks off with the system fully integrating Earth into the wider multiverse. Zac is thrust into the Mystic Realm, the first massive hub world where countless alien races and human factions converge. The atmosphere is a brilliant mix of awe-inspiring wonder and gritty, pragmatic tension. Zac isn't interested in playing galactic politics, but when alien empires and arrogant multiversal elites start looking at Earth as nothing more than a weak, newly integrated planet ripe for exploitation, Zac's protective instincts kick in. The world-building in this installment is staggering, introducing a vibrant, dangerous, and deeply complex multiversal ecosystem without ever losing the grounded, gritty feel of the early books. At the core of the book's addictive appeal is its brilliantly crunchy progression system and the introduction of deep faction-building mechanics. Zac isn't just grinding his own stats anymore. He is building a town, managing resources, and leading a faction. Watching him apply his ruthless, pragmatic military mindset to multiversal economics and territorial defense is incredibly satisfying. Furthermore, his personal cultivation reaches new heights as he delves deeper into the synergies of his Doomsday Warrior, Cleanser, and Halgrim classes. The LitRPG elements are front and center, treating the system not just as a video game overlay, but as a complex set of physical and magical laws that Zac must master. The audiobook brings the weight of his axe and the hum of his cosmic energy to life, making the combat feel incredibly impactful. But beyond the stats and the town management, the soul of Defiance of the Fall 3 lies in its characters and the shifting dynamics of Earth's integration. Zac is joined by a growing cast of fiercely loyal allies, including the brilliant and deadly Ophelia, the enigmatic Iz, and the ever-present loyal Ozzy. The banter between these hardened survivors and the bewildered, arrogant aliens they encounter provides some of the best comedic relief in the genre. The audiobook narration perfectly captures the contrast between Zac's deadpan, no-nonsense attitude and the sheer, unadulterated shock of the multiversal elites when they realize this primitive human is an absolute monster in combat. As the plot accelerates towards its climax, the pacing becomes utterly breathless. The integration culminates in a massive, high-stakes event that tests every skill, every defensive formation, and every ounce of Zac's cunning. The combat sequences are cinematic, tactical, and incredibly hype. Zac must use his environment, his devastating axe techniques, and his newly forged faction to outmaneuver foes who have millennia of experience. The finale is a massive, dopamine-fueled payoff that proves once and for all that Earth is not to be messed with, and Zac OZeller is a force of nature. Defiance of the Fall 3 is a triumph of the system apocalypse genre. It is smart, brutal, and unapologetically addictive. TheFirstDefier and JF Brink have crafted a milestone book that perfectly transitions the series from a survival story to a multiversal epic. Plug in your headphones, grab your heaviest weapon, and join Zac OZeller. The multiverse has arrived, and Zac is ready to chop his way to the top.